There are lots of different kinds of working boats on canals and rivers, and the design of the boat would be influenced by where it was to be used. I'm visiting the Stourport Forward Heritage Rooms in Stourport-on-Severn to find out about a special kind of boat that worked on the River Severn. Nora is a lovely model of a flat-bottomed sailing boat called a trow. Boats like Nora used to unload at ports all along the River Severn. They carried thousands of tons of coal from ports like Cardiff out to small villages on the river. Another cargo that Nora transported was corn. Sometimes the cargoes would be transshipped straight into much smaller narrow boats. So let's have a look at the design of the boat. Nora was a flat-bottomed trow. So when the tide went out in the estuary and the water level went down, she could sit there quite happily resting on the mud. Trows were built out of huge pieces of local timber, and because they worked in sheltered waters, lots of them survived for 70 years or more. Lots of trows had open holds. That means there was no cover, so the cargo could be loaded straight into the boat. The disadvantage of this meant that water could come over the sides of the boat, particularly if the river was flowing very fast, if there was a lot of water. And so they were sometimes fitted with these side cloths. You can see there's one at the front here on this side, and on the other side that one's raised up. And these side cloths would help to protect the cargo. Nora was steered from the back with a steering wheel, but lots of trows would have had a simple tiller a bit like this. A trow was a sailing boat, so it would have had sails hanging from the masts here. But it had a very special feature. How do you think a boat like this could get under the bridges in local towns? If you said that the mast could be lowered down flat, you were right. One last modern convenience that I particularly like is the little box at the back of the boat on the starboard side. What do you think this could be? You might have guessed that it was an open-air toilet. It must have been quite important because the men were working on the boat all the time, but it would have been a very modern thing in those days. Trows like Nora did a lot of work moving cargoes around the docks. The boat had no engine, but she did have this hand-turned winch on deck. And that helped the crew to be able to move the boat around the docks. A rope was threaded through the winch, and inside the winch are gears to give mechanical advantage. By securing the rope to an object and turning the winch handle, the crew could let the rope out or pull it tight and therefore move the boat around. Let's have a quick trow quiz now.
What were the trow's special features? Were they a flat bottom, a large chimney, a mast that could be lowered to get under bridges, or wheels? What cargoes were carried on the river? Were they coal, computer parts, corn, food grown at local farms, bricks, stone and timber? What was the winch used for? Was it for casting spells, crossing the river, moving the boat around in the docks, or raising and lowering the mast? What was the small box used for? Was it for storing food? Was it an outdoor toilet? Or was it to hide in bad weather?
Nora was built in 1868 by John Goff in Bridgewater. She was used for many years for transporting corn in Bristol, And then in her later years she was used as a houseboat and lived on by a Captain Smart. Eventually she was left sunk on the mudflats at Uphill on the River Severn, and then finally in 1939 she was given a Viking funeral, so they burnt her on the mudflats. We'd like to say thank you to Bill Williams for making the Trow Nora so that we could look at it today.